On today's episode of My Jeep, we figure out, does old fuel still burn good? Let's find out. Now, a little story of the fuel, or where it came from in this tank. This came out of a 2000-ish Chevy Tracker, of course. This one actually right here. Its fuel tank when I bought it, insert picture here, had some fuel in it. I don't know how much. I was able to pick it up, so it's not a ton of fuel. But this fuel is way over a year old, maybe 2 years old. And with all the ethanol and stuff they put in fuel these days, the shelf life is supposedly, if you Google it, insert another clip here, 3 to 6 months. Now, my other Suzuki over there has a 2-liter, great little motor in it that's pretty resilient. I don't know that this would work in a modern, super modern car that's very sophisticated, but at least in a little Chevy Tracker, or if you have a, anything pre-2000 that's pretty basic, can you burn that old fuel off? Because I have mountains of jerry cans over here with fuel in it that's pretty old, and I'd be curious, and as I'm sure some of you are, if that fuel is still good enough to burn. So, first things first, we got to make that fuel pump work so I can take the fuel out of that tank, pump in the tracker. Let's start cutting wires. Now, once upon a time, this was a complete tracker, and I cut the back off because the frame is bent back here. And in doing so, I managed to cut through wires, which have been held together since then by masking tape, which is super great. But most importantly, this is the plug, one of these is, for the fuel pump. So masking tape is actually the best thing to hold wires together with, because I just yanked on this and it won't come apart. So give me a second here. So the white plug is indeed the one that goes in here into the top of the fuel cylinder. It looks like if we send power to purple, blue, yellow, black, and then ground out obviously black, we'll get this sucker to turn on. I'm guessing that this is the outflow for the actual fuel tank. This is of course not fuel rated hose, but it is the hose I had on hand that conveniently fitted over into this. So we'll see if we get the battery out of the boat project and try and power this up, if we can get this thing to pump its questionable fuel into my beloved tracker. So I've gotten the battery out of the boat project, which has never come to light because that's way too hard. But I forgot I put a convenient on-off switch on here for the positive. So we got our harness. If you look at the harness, the white one does have the pink, the yellow, the blue. We'll go ahead and strip these suckers down real quick. Well, the pump's not bad. I think this battery is just very, very dead. So we're gonna try and do something I've always wanted to try, and that's use a Milwaukee battery to jump stuff. So that battery is obviously very dead. We're gonna try something I've always been curious about, is people have used little lithium batteries off tools to power stuff. Obviously they didn't mark negative or positive, so let's just stick things in here. Try what your mother said not to do. Oh, look at that. We got a little, that worked. I'm astonished. Did you see that? Did we get the flow? So this is the out for the fuel tank. And let's see if we can get gas in there. One thing I did want to do, I need my keys. One thing I did want to do is I think she is done, if you can hear it. And obviously the flow is gone. We have emptied the tank. It's super lightweight now. Let's disconnect our little battery here. Thank you, Milwaukee. If you want to send me free stuff, I'll keep talking about how great your product is. But now let's see how well this ancient fuel from that tank from a tracker over there works. There may be a little bit of water in it. So we got that fuel in there, and as you can see, it's moved up quite a bit. We're a little bit over a quarter tank here. So I'm sure it'll start no problem, because obviously there's good fuel in the fuel rails. But we're gonna go drive this real quick and see if there's anything that that has changed? Or is it still happy? Is this old fuel just fine? Let's find out. All seems fairly hunky-dory in the tracker. The gauge has actually risen even more. It looks like we have damn near half a tank we sucked out of that thing. So, I mean, it does have a different smell, or unless I'm just being weird over here, it seems like it may smell a little different, but it is working completely fine. Let's keep track here. Well, it's still completely fine. I've been driving for a little while now, kind of playing around with some rocks now. It's hard to film and drive a manual, I'll tell you what. Seems pretty happy. Nope. Rubbing. She still gets it done. Oh, we knocked out of 4 low. Yeah. Pop her on down into 2. Yep. I don't see any issues with this fuel. I'm fairly confident we're burning this questionable fuel here. Let's do a pull up on the street here. We'll see what happens. As she goes. Yep, seems happy. I think the old fuel is just fine. I really know the proportions now, don't I? Look at that gap right there. But anyway, it seems like old fuel is just fine in your more basic engines. I wouldn't say you need to run it every day, but as far as just a test, I mean, it seems to work just fine. Of course, we'll keep you updated if anything changes and this thing decides that it's very unhappy and needs me to pull all that out and clean injectors out. But in the meantime, that seems to work. If there's no part 2, that means you can do this. If you have something old that just want to pour some old fuel in, as of current, go for it. Don't sue me. Thanks for watching.